Yo, what is good, everybody? Finally got a new video for you guys. This video I have been wanting to do for the longest time, I'll be honest, but wasn't sure if I should make one. But you know what, I said, let's just do this. I wanted to give you guys my current favorite top 10 manga. Now, disclaimer, I know some of you guys, or a lot of you, are probably gonna be pissed off that you might not see some of your guys' favorite on my list. Just know this, there's so many manga out there that I have yet to read. I have like a lot of series in my own collection that I've yet to read. So if you guys don't see some of your guys' favorites, just know that maybe I just haven't read it yet, or just couldn't get into the series. Obviously, my personal top 10 is obviously going to change that down the road when I read more and more manga. So this will be my current top 10 manga. Now we have at number 10, Akira. Now, I don't need to talk too much about Akira because it is one of the most iconic, animes to have ever lived. And I'll admit, I wasn't the biggest fan of the anime movie. Like, I really liked it, but I didn't love it. But going into the manga, I have to say, was way better. I absolutely love the manga. It is probably hands down my favorite sci-fi series that I have ever read. And the characters itself are really interesting. The world, the cyberpunk and the epic motorcycle chases in there. It is a fantastic series, and if you have not read it, I definitely recommend you to check out the manga. Now we have at number 9, Blade of the Immortal. Now I recently just finished reading Blade of the Immortal maybe a couple months ago, and I have to say I absolutely loved the series so much. This series follows a girl named Rin who hires this bodyguard to get revenge on the slaying of her parents. Now, this bodyguard is no ordinary man. He literally can't die. He's immortal. Anything that he gets sliced off will just heal from these bloodworms. It is a very, very gory series. Totally not for everybody. There's a lot of explicit content in here. But if you are into samurai action, this is definitely for you. Now at number 8, we have Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin. Now, Gundam franchise is my favorite franchise of anything. I love Gundam so much, especially Gundam The Origin. I feel like this series tackles so many things, very heavy topics. Gundam tackles political elements, sci-fi, mechs, racism, just everything into that story. It is a fantastic series. If you guys have never read or have seen a Gundam The Origin manga is definitely where you want to start, because this is basically where it all starts. This is the original Mobile Suit Gundam 0079 story, and it is definitely a beautiful series to own itself. Those hardcover releases are some of the best quality manga I have ever seen in my life. Now at number 7, we have a series called A Distant Neighborhood by Jiro Taniguchi. Now this series followed a middle-aged man who takes a train ride back to his old hometown to visit his mother's gravesite. But then for some reasons that can't be explained, he was transported back in time to his old former body, his 8th grader self. But he kept all of the memories, his adult memories, intact. I have to say, reading A Distant Neighborhood, hands down, was probably one of the most emotional reads I have ever read. I'm not gonna lie, I almost cried reading this series. It is a beautiful story, a very emotional one, and it's a series I don't see too many people talk about. So if you guys have never seen it or read it, I highly recommend you guys to check it out. Now at number 6, we have Slam Dunk. Now, this is a series I'm sure most of you guys have heard of or read. This is by Takehiko Inoue. And yes, Slam Dunk is a fantastic series. It is basically about this main character's name is Sakuragi Hanamichi, who's a delinquent. He's a gang leader, very unpopular with the ladies, and he wants to impress this girl who's really into basketball and ends up joining the basketball team in high school. And you just see this journey going through learning how to play basketball, and to also see how talented he is and how athletic he is. It is an awesome series. It is hilarious. It is intense. The basketball scenes in there are some of the most coolest scenes you can ever see. And the character itself of Sakuragi is just affectionate and is also really funny. And yeah, definitely recommend you to check out Slam Dunk if you have not read it. Now at number 5, we have another Takehiko Inoue's manga called Vagabond. I'm sure most of you would have this on your top 10 list. Vagabond is one of the best illustrated series of all time. I absolutely love Vagabond. It is the manga I like to credit it that made me become a hardcore collector. Like before, when I was reading manga, I would read a manga volume here or there. But when I picked up Vagabond for the first time, that's when I was like, I need to pick up more and more manga. I absolutely love the series. It is a series that follows the life of Miyamoto Musashi, who is one of the most iconic and legendary samurais who have ever lived. It basically sees his journey as a kid to becoming that legendary samurai that he is known today. Now at number 4, we have Hajime no Ippo. Hajime Ippo is one of my all-time favorite series. I love it. It's a classic. It's a boxing series that hold near dear to my heart. I grew up into combat sports. I've been doing, martial arts and boxing since I was like 3 years old. So I'm definitely gonna have a bias towards this series, but it is a fantastic series. It's very well written. The art is excellent. It's a old series. It's been out since 1989, so it is a very long series. But it is a series that follows the main character's name is Makunouchi Ippo, who is basically very shy. He gets bullied all the time. But one day he meets this guy who is a professional boxer, and he takes him under his wing and brings him to the gym. And Ippo basically falls in love with the sport of boxing. He learns how to box, goes to the amateur rankings, and to end up going pro, and to hopefully one day become a champion. And it is an awesome series. If you guys haven't seen it, the anime or manga, definitely recommend you guys to check it out. Now at number 3, we have Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. Now Beck follows this main character named Koyuki. He's pretty much a boring kid, doesn't have any talents or anything like that, but he meets this guy who is very talented guitarist in a band, and ever since then, once they meet each other, Koyuki dedicates his whole life to music, learns how to play guitar, ends up joining the band of that character, and also becomes one of the lead vocalists in their band. It is an awesome series. It's a series that just follows the journey of those two characters or the whole band itself, and you just see all of the trials and tribulations that they go through just to make their dreams come true. Alright, so at number 2, we have something I think that might shock a few people, but to be honest, this is actually my favorite Takehiko's manga, and that is a series called Real. Real revolves around these 3 teenagers who, one of them is a high school dropout, another one is an ex-sprinter, but ends up being paralyzed and plays wheelchair basketball. Another one is a very popular high school student who's the captain of the basketball team, but unfortunately ends up finding himself being paraplegic also. But the one thing that they all 3 have in common is their love of the sport of basketball. And it is a sports series, but it's much more than that. Series is much more darker than Slam Dunk, which is probably why I like it a little bit more, being a seinen series. It is more and more my age range, but it is a very heavy themed manga. I mean, this series tackles depression, it tackles suicidal thoughts, it follows characters who obviously have disabilities, and it is a mesmerizing series. It is a series that it gets very emotional at times, but it is so worth it. It is a awesome series, and definitely I would say one of the most underrated mangas that I have ever read. Now, for my number 1 favorite series, some of you guys may know already because I say it in my videos quite often that Vinland Saga is my all-time favorite manga. It is a historical series that is with a bunch of Vikings. You see this young kid whose name is Thorfinn, who idolizes warriors, he idolizes the Vikings, and wants to become a Viking himself. But unfortunately, one tragic day, he loses his father in the midst of battle. His father was a fantastic and amazing warrior, and people looked up to his father. But with Thorfinn's anger and rage, he wants to get revenge on the man that killed his father. So you see basically Thorfinn as a little kid through all the way to his teens, to adulthood, and you will see him grow as a person. Some of the best character development I've seen in any series, hands down. But definitely recommend you to check out Vinland Saga. If you guys want to check out the anime, that's also cool because the anime was also fantastic. But yeah, that is pretty much my top 10 favorite. Like I said, I know this is my personal top 10. I would love to see your guys' personal top 10. I hope you guys won't be angry at me if I didn't put some of your guys' favorites on my list, like Berserk. I know some of you guys are probably going to be pissed off that I did put Berserk on there. But know that I have not read much of Berserk yet. I've only read like 4 volumes of Berserk, but I definitely will read more of that, and most likely that will end up in my top 10 for sure. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I would love it if you guys like, comment, subscribe, and your boy's out.